Hi, hi. Hi, hi. How's it going, everyone? How's it going, everyone? Oh my gosh. There we go. How are you all? I hope you all had a good Monday and a good weekend. It's certainly a day. It is certainly a day. My day was okay. It was the last, I don't know, 10 minutes were very hectic. Excuse me, as I was trying to get set up here. You can hear I have my dice. uh, you'll see. You'll see. So today we're gonna be talking about. Oh gosh, there's a lot to cover. First off, did you guys have a good day? Did you guys have a good weekend? Let's start there. Because my day was all right. Work was going work was very normal. Since last since last week, last weekend. Last week was a disaster. To put it bluntly. Hi, Crovan. Hi, hi. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good day, and I hope you had a good weekend. Last week was disaster. I'm glad last week is over with. Yeah, me too. But I took the weekend to kind of decompress, get back to my normal self. Which I did, and I feel a lot better. Just take some time to myself, did a bunch of laundry, cleaned up a bunch, not have my room look like it was struck by a tornado as much. And yeah. So, that's kind of what I did this weekend. I just kind of took some time, chilled. Gosh. So I go to a writers group, and they meet every couple weeks, Sometimes it's every other week, sometimes it's every 2 weeks. In any case, we had writers group yesterday, and it was very funny. So we meet up at the same place. It's like the same bar. It's they make ciders there. They make stuff like that there. So it's like a half brewery, half bar place. And they have good food, and it's usually pretty quiet, so we can discuss hard ciders. Yes, hard ciders. And I showed up. I was the first one to get there. I showed up. There's a sign on the door saying the place is closed. It was rented out by a party for the evening. The whole place was rented out. And so we were like, okay. Wiz, is there something that you want me to say? Is there something that you want me to say here, Wiz? You're come on. But I show up and they're closed. Yes. Yep. Exactly. Akane. You know what? Rock hard penis inside of her. How's that? We'll just get it out there. We can all laugh. Silly. It's so silly. I wanted to see if I could get you another time. I mean, I was hoping that you would forget that you got me the first time. No. Okay. But, in any case, I get there, the place is rented out, and so we're like, okay, let's go to our backup place. We used to go to this other place that, made pizza. It was a bar that they, had, a pizza joint attached. And so we go there, I go there, and on the way there, it starts like pouring rain, pouring rain. It starts like hailing. It's like a bad thunderstorm. Um, and I get there, I get out in the rain, and I go to the door, and the place, I don't know when, maybe a couple months ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, started closing at 6 instead of 8, like they used to. So we start at 6:30, so I got there and it was closed. So we're like, okay, let's go down the street. There's another bar that's down the street, so we go down the street. And that place, I go up to the bar, make sure that they're staying open, and the bartender, she's like, nope, we're closing early. Last call's in half an hour because of the bad weather. And we're like, God fucking damn it. So we end up going to 4 different places last night, just to have our writers group. But it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun regardless. So, just another adventure in the life of Nori. But we had a good time. We still had a good time, so I'm still happy. With insane chain of events, yeah, I'm like still shocked because like the place that we are like go to, the place that has the cider, just like is never in that situation where someone's rented out the whole restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's such like a not that kind of place, you know? So, but whatever. But yeah. So let's talk about the plan for the week. So the plan for the week today, we're going to be world building a setting. We're going to be making. I'm going to show you my method for making a setting. And how my method of, and I'll explain how my method of making a setting is the wrong way of making a setting. It's like vastly inferior to how you should be making a setting, but I don't care because it's my way and I like it. But also, I'm gonna be shit talking Nier, and by shit talking Nier, I'm not actually gonna be shit talking Nier. I'm just gonna explain where my thoughts are with Nier. Yeah, that sounds like Nori. It does. Oh, I see. So just like you play games. Yeah, exactly, Wiz. But I'm gonna talk about Nier and what like the plan moving forward is, because last week was not it. It wasn't it. It wasn't it. So we'll talk about Nier, and we'll talk about Thursday, because if you look at my schedule, you'll see that we may not necessarily be playing Nier on Thursday. So yeah. And then we'll talk about. So we'll talk about that, and then we will world build, and then Tuesday we're doing Inner Magnolia. No problems with Inner Magnolia. Does that sound good? If it does not bring joy, you do not need in your life. Well, that's the thing. I mean, let's just get into it. So, this past stream of Nier Automata, I think, was the least amount of fun I've had playing a game since I started streaming. It was bad. It was really, really bad. And I don't know. I think it's tough to say, because it's tough to say Nier is a bad game, because it's like it's not. But at the same time, Nier is kind of a bad game, which I have a. It's so weird to explain it, but Nier isn't necessarily a bad game. I think it's a bad product. Yoko Taro, all the production people who work with Yoko Taro must hate themselves. I cannot describe it any other way. Because if you think about how Nier is structured, Nier Automata is structured, not Nier Replicant. Nier Replicant I think was fine. But how Nier Automata was structured, if you play through Route A, I found Route A to be a very incomplete story. Which it is, by design, right? And in theory, I think there's nothing wrong with that, because you expect most people to play the entire game. But if you're if you're a company that's like pitching a game to investors, pitching an incomplete Route A must be a disaster. Like, I can't describe it any other way. And for that reason, I cannot fathom calling Nier Automata like a good quote-unquote product because of that. I can't imagine a world where I say, yeah, I want you to play through the story, and you're gonna reach the ending, right? And you're gonna feel like it's incomplete and bad. Like, I don't... You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It feels... I did not feel... There's a reason Square Enix PR put the message at the ending A. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And, like... I can see why they did that now. Because, yeah. And then, the thing that I didn't have fun with, like... The Eve fight was fine, I think. I think it would have been fine if I'd cleared it in the first time. I think it's an artistic choice, and I don't think it's bad. Yeah, that's the thing. Nier Automata is a work of art more than it is a video game product. Which, again, me. Who's bad-mathing Nier? Me. I am. Oddfellow, hi. I regret to inform you that Nier Automata... The last stream was rough, right? I mean, you were there for it, but I did not have, like, a lot of fun playing last stream, which is why I'm bad-mouthing Nier. But part of that, part of what happened was the circumstances of what happened, right? I got myself into a position that I didn't know that I was going to get myself into, which was getting myself into this chain of events that sparked the end of the game. Like last stream, I didn't have a chance to buy healing products. And I didn't know that I was never going to have the chance to. And because of that, I ran out of healing, and then had to bash my head against the fucking tutorial of 9S's section. And it was awful. It was genuinely an awful experience. And I did not have fun. And if you were to ask me, hey, are you going to keep playing Nier? And under the assumption that I was going to pick up where I started last stream, I think the answer would be no. I don't want to do that again. It was not fun. And... like, literally, almost 0% of 9S's tutorial section I had fun with. I liked being a robot for, like, the first time, and that was pretty much it. And I think because of that, I don't really want to continue that run of Nier Automata. Does that mean I'm done playing Nier Automata? Not necessarily. I had to go back before the fight using a save. That sounds like an awful experience. Like, I don't know how else to put it. That sounds awful. It sounds genuinely awful. And so what I've been thinking about, what I've been toying with the idea is, maybe like taking this week off of Nier and doing something chill in the meantime, and then starting over. But I mean by starting over is like literally starting Route A again from the beginning. I don't know if that would be okay with you guys, which is why I'm talking to you guys about it first. But the reason I think that would be good for a good experience for me is because now I know not to be upset when they take away all my shit at the beginning of the game. You know, I was like talking the very first stream, I was talking about how awful an experience it was that they like give you all this stuff in the tutorial and then they take it away under no explanation. Like that is alleviated because I know that the first thing I should do is go get my own body. I think I know where the side quest wipes are, because like one of my biggest gripes about Automata's gameplay is that like it wipes the side quests with no reason to. Which like the reason is that like it's appropriate in the story, but that like that's not a good enough reason for me. I think like if you look at Replicant, for example, like Replicant, when it wipes all the all the side quests, it happens after a time skip. Like it doesn't tell you that the time skip's gonna happen, but it's like there's an in-game explanation for why those side quests are gone, which I can accept. Here, in Automata, it wipes the side quests after 9S gets captured and you have the whole like thing on the beach. But there's no reason that would wipe the side quest, because you save the camp from getting wiped. You know what I'm saying? Like if the side camp, if the resistance camp after that got like wiped off the map, sure, I get it. Those people don't exist to give you the quests anymore. But that doesn't happen. Those people are still there. So there's no reason that those quests should be gone. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. There's no in-game explanation why this side quest should be gone and wiped. And because of that, I'm like, okay, so why are they being wiped? So I know like to do that. And I won't be upset about it. And the important bit, I know when to stock up on healing. So I think a combination of those things leads me to believe that if I were to restart from the very beginning, I would have a much more positive experience than I did. Because I would say if I were to rate my Nier Automata experience so far, it has been okay. The game is fine. And I think I would, like, I don't know, I'd give it like a 5 or a 6 out of 10. Like, it's okay. I think the metaphors are a bit too heavy-handed for me. They're like hitting you over the head with it, and I'm like, okay, I get it. But I think it's fine. I wouldn't say it's exceptional so far, and that's because I haven't seen more of the game, and I can't see more of the game because I don't want to fucking play this 9S tutorial in the same fucking spot again. Like, it's garbage. What really, really irks me is that I got reset, like, twice. Like, one time was not really, but it's like, I don't know, it pisses me, the whole, like, crane thing with the ending pisses me off. The whole you die and you have to start over from the very beginning because it's a fucking ending. Like, the endings thing pisses me off. I don't think that that's how the game should take itself. The game purports itself to be a serious game about serious topics. So hard resetting you to the very beginning of the tutorial, the second tutorial, because of a joke is, I think it's counter to what the game is trying to do. I think it's okay for a game that's as serious as Nier Automata to have humor. I just don't think it's properly implemented with these endings. So I don't like them. I just don't like them. And I don't like that they reset you. I just don't. So that's kind of like where my headspace is at with Nier. I don't know if I'm gonna play it this week. I'm a little bit Niered out. I suppose it has its flaws. It's just like the resets in Dark Souls. Well, I don't play Dark Souls games. And I'm not sure that I would enjoy them as most people do. I had some fun with Elden Ring, but that's because I was super over leveled for 95% of the game. So that's why I voted against Automata. Yeah, it's just there. It's been, I mean, how many weeks of Nier have we been playing? Let me check my YouTube. It's way too easy if you know what you're doing. I didn't know what I was doing, and it became easy because I didn't know what I was doing and overcompensated for it. So, Nier Replicant was 13 weeks, and I've played 5 weeks of Automaton, so it's 18 weeks in a row of Nier. I'm like, I could use a little bit of a break. How many, that's like, what, 4 months? Mass Effect. Well, I don't know, how long is Mass Effect? I don't think I can do Mass Effect in like 1 or 2 streams, right? If I'm gonna do something, it would need to be something that can be done. Like, I do want to pick Nier back up. It's not... Mass Effect 1 isn't that long, right? If I'm gonna do something, it's gotta be something that, like, I do want to resume Nier Automata. Outer Wilds. Hi, Mama Cookie. Hi. I've already played Outer Wilds, is the thing. I could play it again, but I could also, like... I could beat Outer Wilds in 1 stream, and that's because I know everything. Sorry, it's always the answer with me. That's totally fair. It's a absolutely gorgeous game. I don't know that I want to take a month or 2 off of Nier. Like, I think I only want it to be a couple weeks. Because I kind of want to get it over with. At the same time, like, I want a short break, but I want to, like, get back to it so it's done. You should probably pick what's fun. Yeah. So, we could stick a whole game in between before picking Nier back up. But in any case, I think when I pick Nier back up, I think I'm just going to start from the very beginning again. If you guys can accept that. We should take a break. Yeah, I think so. What would be a good... What's like... I feel like I should do it with like a Tuesday-ass game. Because like the Thursday games tend to be like... long. How long was... Like, Yakuza 0 was like... So, Nier Replicant was 13 streams. Yakuza 0 was 10. So they're about like 2.5 months. Let me go back to... Let me open up Discord and see what, like, the polls were. Okay, so... Thursday games would be like Mass Effect 1, Chrono Trigger, things like that. Let me go to the last Tuesday game one. Be like Control or Half-Life 1, Black Mesa. Could also do like what do you call it? We could also just chill and play like a chill game. Like Slay the Spire, or, you know, like a Monday type game for a couple weeks. Let me look at my Steam. What do I have? That's not my library, thank you. Okay, so... do something like the Talos Principle. I don't know how long the Talos Principle is. It's like a puzzle game. Mahjong Souls has a Balatro mode. Does it? Since when? Is that new? New, like, Noita? Like, how many streams would that be? I think I had written down, like, 7. Talos can be long. I'm playing 2. It's fab, but it is in a couple weeks. Oh, okay. Thank you for the heads up. Yeah, it's from a new event. Oh, interesting. How long is Mass Effect 1? It's called Sky High Ambition. Interesting. Mass Effect 1 is about 17 hours long. That's what, like 6 weeks? 7 weeks? If you're a gamer who strives to see all aspects of the game, you're likely to spend 42.5 hours to obtain 100% completion. Okay, well, I'm not doing that. Not 100%ing Mass Effect 1. At all. But it's probably going to end up being more than 17 hours, knowing how slow I play games. Because I do like to explore them. We're not doing Divinity. Divinity would take a year to play. How long is Chrono Trigger? You laugh. I think Divinity would legitimately take, like, you know, half a year to play at least. Like 25 streams, easy. 26 streams, I think I could do that easy. Chrono Trigger, yeah, Chrono Trigger. Oh, Chrono Trigger would take like 23 hours. That's longer than Mass Effect 1. What the fuck? I just finished Superliminal. It's a 1 or 2 stream game, puzzle, super surreal. A great bake before getting stuck back in Nier. Superliminal. Why does that sound familiar? I don't think I own it. Chrono Trigger is very long. Okay. Superliminal. It is $20. Oh, I've seen this game before. It's like the perspective one. Where, like, you drag things around, they, like, change size based on, like, your perspective of them. This game looks like an interesting game. I feel like I would have an existential crisis playing this game, but it'd probably be a lot of fun. It has a Stanley Parable feel. Is it like a comedy like Stanley Parable is? Like, I would consider Stanley Parable a comedy. Which I can take or leave. I will definitely take this one into consideration for sure. If you think it's like a 1 or 2 style, 1 or 2 stream game, then it's for sure an option. If we want to do something longer, it'd probably be like Mass Effect 1. How long is the next Yakuza game? It's probably pretty long, I would imagine. How long is Yakuza Kiwami 1? It's like 6-ish hours? Okay. That's like 2 streams. Kiwami 1 is about 18 hours. Okay. Disco Elysium is too long. That's on the list to play. Excuse me. Most of the other games that I have are like... Oh, we could play Stray. How long is Stray? I own Stray. I got it a while ago. Stray is the cat game. If you're unfamiliar, it's about 5 hours. We could do Stray. How do you guys feel about that? $5 hours, 10 hours to 100% it. I mean, that sounds like a winner, right? Stray would be good. Stray is amazing. Do Stray? Okay. Then we can do that. Maybe we'll do that on Thursday then. And we'll do that like this week, next week, and then we'll start a new playthrough of Nier the following week. How does that sound? Does that sound good? Because I think I definitely want to break, and then I want to restart Nier. Because I don't want to pick Nier back up. Like, from where I am, with no HP, that sounds like an awful experience that I do not want to happen. Okay. Sounds great. Okay. Then we'll do that. I'll make a thumbnail tonight and then put up a waiting room. And yeah, we'll do Stray. Okay. Now let's build a setting. You guys are gonna laugh when you see this. Because this is gonna be silly. Alright. We're gonna transition over. So, what you guys may not have been expecting about today's stream is... I don't need this. I do want this. Today is a hand cam stream. I don't know if y'all were expecting the world building stream to be a hand cam stream, but it is. Hi. Question mark, why cardboard? What an excellent question. What an excellent question. So the reason it's cardboard is because no gloves. Yeah, where's the slime? Slime Doko. Where's the slime? The reason it's cardboard is because I would be doing it on paper. and I don't think paper. Like usually, I would do it on paper with pencil, but I don't think the camera would pick it up. I don't think the camera is a good enough quality to pick up pencil on paper. So I got cardboard, and I got a Sharpie, and we're doing it like this. And if I mess up, then it sucks to be me. So this is what you're doing. What we're doing. So I would say there's two ways to build a setting. This seems ill-advised. It probably is. But like I said, I don't think paper, like I don't think paper and pencil would work. Because the lines would be too faint and that kind of thing. And I don't know how to. I don't have like a drawing tablet. Like I would love to use like a stylus and hook it up to the PC, but I don't have anything like that. I have an iPad. Maybe I could like connect the iPad to the PC somehow and draw on like Metabang. I don't know how that would work though. But this is what we're doing. I can't really do it on the tablet anyways because I need a physical surface. Because dice. Dice bag. Dice. This is how you build a world. Alright? This is what we're doing. Alright. If it goes wrong, it's just funny. Okay, so we need to. Hello. Welcome to my dice. Here, let's throw in. You know what? We're gonna throw in my special trans dice. Like, let me. Oh, no, I just knocked some dice over. All right, perfect. We're already off to a strong start. It flew off the desk. It doesn't matter. So, let's pick out some dice. Trans dice? Yeah, look at these. They're like pink and blue and white. They're honestly, it's hard to see because the camera is bad. But they're very, very pretty. They're like cotton candy in a way. But let's pick out some dice. We'll say D20s. We're gonna split up the D20s. D20s will be major cities. I think it makes sense that D4s would be mountains. I need, like, lakes. We'll do, like, D12s are lakes. Right? They're, like, round in a way. And you're like, Nori, what the fuck are you on about? Mountains, lakes? Yeah. This is how we do it here. What else do I need? What else goes in a world? Mountains, forests. Forests. Let's do D6s for forest. Do I have D6? Did I lose a D6? No, it's here. Do I need D10s and what else? What else goes in on a map, on a world map? You got cities, you got mountains, you got forest. Desert. We'll do like a couple percentile dice for desert. We'll do like these two for desert. What else do you guys think? What else should go in a world? Let's like designate like D8s for like anomalies. Like like lakes are D12s. Plains will be everything that's not the dice. Roads, castles. So cities are D20s. That would be like castles. We're doing like capital cities, like major cities. I think D8s will just be like anomalies, if that makes sense. Crevasse. So they would be like crevasses / canyons. ruins, like special dungeons. Like imagine I'm just gonna spitball here. Imagine a giant section of land that has like gravity reversed. And so there's like floating islands. It would be like random shit like that. Like super extra anomalous shit. We'll make D8s. And we want probably like 3 of those. Alright. So, lakes, I don't know. I don't have a ton of space here, right? Because dice are big. We'll do like 2 small deserts, 3 anomalous things, plenty of forest, plenty of mountains. We'll say like 4 lakes. How does that sound? And then for like large cities, I'm thinking maybe like 4. Because I don't want this to be a large continent. I want it to be like medium sized. Let's take away the red one because this dice does not belong to me. It has been imbued with my friend's spirit. Same with the black one. These 2 are like, they roll these dice. I do not roll those dice because I am the DM / another player. I don't roll other people's dice. Is that superstitious? Yes, but I'm a little bit superstitious. Okay, so here's the setting, right? You have mountains, you have forests, you have lakes, you have anomalies, you have desert, you have major cities. So there's 2 ways to build a setting in a TTRPG. You can do it how I'm doing it, which is from the top down, meaning you're building large and then you're drilling in smaller. So you can see here I'm literally building a continent here. I have cities, we have mountains, that kind of thing. So that's one way to do it. It's probably also the incorrect way to do it. Because if you think about what you need for a game, you don't need countries and rivers and that kind of thing. You just kind of need like a starting city and a dungeon, and that's pretty much it. So if you design like one city, you can literally run entire campaigns and not have to worry about a mountain or a forest or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it accomplishes way less for the game than starting from like one tiny location and building out from that. This is a lot more work. It's a lot more upfront work, but for me, I find it to be a robust starting point because when I build cities, I want there to be culture. I want there to be, like, I don't want to start with a generic location and just, like, make up random shit for it. I want to define, like, the continent defines the culture, and that defines, like, how people act and that kind of thing. And, like, for example, if these dice are arranged like this in like a clear mountain range, right? Because these are the mountains. Like, if this is like the windy side, ocean water will blow in from here, and this will be very lush, and this will be very dry. Because that's how mountains work. And you can look at any mountain range, and there will be a wet side and a dry side. Like, that's just how mountains work. And because of that, the 2 cultures on each side of the mountain develop differently. And they inform the decisions that I make when I build the countries that live on both sides of the mountain range. Right? And that's how I build the setting, is like the continent defines the cultures, and that defines how the style of stuff. So because of that, this is what we're doing. Now, you see I have these dice, and you might be thinking to yourself, okay, so we're going to arrange these dice to be a coherent, normal world. That's not the case. I'm going to throw them all in this bag, and then I'm going to dump them out. And where they land, that's where they land. That's how the dice gods defined the world. And you might think that's silly, but I find it's much better for me to find inspiration in finding out what the world looks like. I'm not going to build the world. Fate is going to build the world. And that might seem silly to you, but I find it works for me. So that's what we're doing. I have my dice, and I'm going to dump them out, and I'm going to draw a continent around where the dice are. And that's going to be the setting. I might adjust some things here and there to make it make sense. But it's literally as simple as that. Will Fate make the world a Project Moon reference? Who knows? Great question. Also, hi Norm. Hi. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good day, and I hope you had a good weekend. Leaving the world up to RNG is certainly a brave way to do it. I find... I'm not kidding you. I find that when you leave tabletop, like, story moments to RNG, RNG will make a good story for you. And a little bit of that is superstition, but I've had way too many games where there's been heartbreak, and it's been super dramatic and exciting because you just barely failed the save or the roll. And I've had story moments where something undeniably epic has happened because someone landed like 2 crits in a row. Both have happened to me and my friends, and because of that, I've learned to just let RNG help tell the story. And in putting my faith in RNG, I feel like RNG gives back to me. Okay, so here's our world. So first thing I see, there is a D12 over here, which D12s were lakes, and it's way over here, which tells me that this is not a lake, it's the ocean. There's a giant city on the border here. Okay, let's find out where things are. Let's establish. So we have a mountain range here, right? We have a mountain range here. There's a city that's like tucked into this mountain range, right? We have a city over here. So you can't see it. There's off the map. There's a D6 over here. That was forest. That forest is no longer there. It's literally off the map. This is forest. Anomaly lake. So this is probably ocean. Like, you have too much water over here. So let's do that. I'm literally just gonna be drawing around this. Where's my lakes? There's a lake here. There's a lake here. D10 was desert, right? So this is probably like a really, really large beach. Really? Same with here. This is like kind of like large beach. This forest does not make any sense here. So we'll move it a little bit there. Anomalous area. Forest. We have water here. We have forest here. Okay, I'm starting. So it's kind of abstract right now, but I'm kind of starting to see it take shape. So we have the edge of the continent here, right? I don't know what this is going to be yet, but we have it like this. We have it like this. Kind of need to split these dice. Like this. And then we're gonna this. So I want this one to be in here. And then we'll figure out what this is, because this is an anomalous area. So this is like the outline of the continent, right? Roughly. And then we have a large mountain range in here, so... these. And this is all mountains. Alright, something like this. This is a lake, so we'll draw like a lake in here. Something like that. And then we'll draw in our cities. So there's a city down here. There's a city in here. There's a city over here. And there's a city over here. Are you starting to, like, see the picture of what I'm doing here? We need something here. We're gonna leave the D8s for last. So... both of these, like, this whole land is all forest. I draw my forest like little lollipops. So we'll add in all this forest, because this was all D6. Now this is art. It really is. It's super art. You know me, Nori the artist. This is why I pay talented artists like you to draw for me. But you can kind of see, like, the continent take shape. There's a large mountain range here. There's a lake here. It probably has, like, a river coming down here from the mountains. There's a city well nested in here. You can see there's, like, very clear natural borders. Oh, there's this. Right. There's, like, natural borders, which, like I said, it all ended up making sense, right? There's two anomalous things here. We're gonna have to decide what this is. But it provides a natural defensive border between these two countries. This is all forest in here. So this is desert. We're gonna make this like desert. We'll just do this for desert. Desert probably gives way to hills. And then there's forest. Alright. So you can kind of see where, like, how we wound up making a legitimate continent with this. We just have to figure out what the heck is going on with what's left. There was a D8 here. Let me not remember that. We don't have that much water. I kind of want some more water. There's a lonely mountain here. This mountain needs a story. We're gonna make this mountain extra large. There. Things health specialists say. What, that we need more water? This is all desert. Why is there a desert over here? Super interesting. There you go. So, what do you guys think? Anomalous area here. Anomalous area here. We need more water? Yeah. I might just, like, throw this dye somewhere and add another lake in at some point. But boom, we have a continent. Like, it's there. Like, obviously this is a rough sketch. We don't have any names for anything, and that's okay. We don't need that. We're just trying to figure out what the heck is going on here. This world building setting, this world building stream is not going to be the only one we do for this, this continent. We're going to be, doing a stream series, probably building this setting, because I want to run my friend's tabletop game, and I want to build this. This setting is for that. Anomalies, like abnormalities from Lobotomy Corp. I don't know what. I've not played Lobotomy Corp. Also, hi Kurama. Hi. Yes, we are world building. You missed it. I kind of just dumped dice, and this is what we wound up with. I designated stuff to be water. I designated stuff to be mountains and forest and desert and cities, and this is what we've wound up. I just dumped the dice. That's how we do it. We let fate take the wheel. You know how we do. We're just thinking up the D8s I described as anomalies. They're crazy shit in the world that might have. I'm thinking this, because these two are so close. I'm thinking this could be a canyon, a huge tear in the world. Now what could have caused a giant tear in the world? I don't know, but it's interesting. So I think that's what we're gonna do here. So we'll just draw a giant. Kurama, if you're wondering why I'm doing it on cardboard, it's because I didn't think pen and paper would show up on camera, because this camera is not very high quality. There you go. Draw some shading, and boom, you have a giant canyon. It could have been caused by some previous war, magic device went wrong and created this cat. So, yes, it's probably going to be something like that, but it's probably not going to be giant magic devices. So another thing to note, this is for my friend's tabletop system, Shrike Systems, which I talked about when I first started streaming. That system is very low magic. There are magic items, but when you think of D&D and increasing in power, you think I need to get a magic item. I have a sword, I need a +1 sword. And that's not how Shrike Systems works. If you need to up your game in Shrike Systems, you're going from bronze to iron. Right? You're the quality of your weapons is improving. It's not we need magic. It's not magic, it's a more, I would say, realistic. There are still people with superpowers, right? The heroes of the setting, those sparked individuals, but it's much more gritty and down to earth than most high fantasy systems. I need some more forest in here. This was all forest. Okay. We'll add a little bit more here. This should all probably be hills and plains. We'll just add in some hills. And some hills here. Alright. And we need to figure out what the hell is going on over here. I want this one to be like a super weird thing, right? Like a giant canyon is weird, but it's not that weird, right? I want this one to be weird. And it's on like the water, so I'm not really sure what to do about that. This is probably all like plains. I imagine this is like plains, like grassland. We got forest. We have one lake. Do we want another? Where would it go? I don't know. I don't know. But this is kind of the setting. So let's think about each of these locations. So you have like this section of the world is really strange, like geographically. Like it's water, right? You have water. And like this is all water, whatever. And then you have like this like huge desert like on the water. It's probably like a stretch of beach, really. Like imagine like the water has receded for some reason. That's what I'm picturing here. So the question becomes like here, I'm just gonna make notes on this. I'm gonna transfer this to something more legible in the future, but in fact, why don't I let me not write on this. Let me grab something else. You know what? You know what I can do? I can make a doc for it. I love where your head is at with this. Yeah. So, I mean, literally, I just dumped dice, right? Like, I just was like, okay, where it lands is where stuff is, and the reason is because I'm trying to discover what this world looks like, because if I just come up with it on my own, I don't think it would wind up as good, right? So just, like, here's where the mountains are, and so, like, I find figuring out reasons for things is much like more intuitive for me than coming up with it like from nothing. So let me make a document. And then new. I'm just gonna call this. My keyboard is like sideways over here because I had to make room for it. New setting. Okay. And then we're gonna call it top left. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this afterwards. Let me make a window capture. Call this strike systems map. Select window capture. This. There you go. And then I can do this. It's Alt. Yeah, there we go. We can do this. Actually, you know what? Let me not do this. Let me interact. Or can you guys see this? Can you guys see me editing this? Yeah, you can. Okay. In that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's minimize this, and we're going to zoom. There you go. Okay. I can do this. Move this up here. Do this. Oh. This. There we go. There, something like this. It's something that we haven't. I'm going to be minimizing this often. Okay. So, you know what? I'm gonna need my keyboard for this. Let me move my keyboard back down here. Ta-da. Keyboard. Alright. Alright, let's talk about this. We're gonna leave this section blank for a moment while I figure out what's going on. So, top left, we have a desert, water receding. We have a large, lonely mountain. And then we have a city. And then in the bottom left, we have a city and lots of grassland. That's not land. Thank you. And then on the right, we have a city. Oop. And question mark, question mark, question mark, because we don't know what this like anomaly is over here. Mouse. Like, we don't know what this is yet, so we're just gonna... It's just gonna be question mark, question mark, question mark for now. And then in the center, right? The center. We have a city, a mountain range, and a tear in the world. I mean, we can just call... You know what? You know, we're just gonna call this the tear. There's only one like it. It's the tear. You know, might as well. The tear is a fine name. God, I shouldn't have cropped this much. I should just zoom in more. I think it's covering me. I'm noticing that it's covering me. There. This down here. That did not go where I wanted it to. Stop that. There. Okay, so we've already named something. Look at us go. The tear. We have, I'm gonna put this with the right. We have a lake. And we have two large forests here. We have one on the right, forest. You guys can't see what I'm working with here. This. And then we have a forest in the top left as well. And then in the bottom left, I'm going to include this other desert here. Okay. Alright. So now that we've noted down all the large features, let's talk about these. So we have the tear here in the middle. We have a lake. Why is this lake here? We got these two deserts. This one is a bit harder to like. They're both kind of difficult to explain because neither of them make sense geographically, right? Like this one especially. Why? What the fuck is going on up here? Why is there a desert here on a peninsula? Right? There's gotta be something going on. I can imagine something fucky is happening. And I'm thinking it probably has something to do with... so you guys might not know this. So in this tabletop RPG, there are these entities, shall we say? They are called lesser idols. It's the edge of the world where some villain or calamity is. So yeah. So there's the gods, and then there's like the lesser idols, which are like sort of demigod-ish. They're not like descendants from gods, but they're extreme. Like they're powerful enough beings that they have started to achieve divinity, right? Every creature in this world works off the same level system. So if you were to make a player character, and I was to make a villain, right? They wouldn't be human because there aren't humans in this world. But they would work off the same like level system. So I would define like, the gang boss would be built the same way that a player character was, and it's balanced that way. Now there are 12 levels, right? If you reach level 12, you are as powerful as you can be without ascending to divinity. So if you were to make a level 6 player character, you would be really powerful. And if I were to make a level 6 villain, they would be really powerful. But the lesser items, so there's 12 achievable levels, quote unquote. Those are not the limit. So those are the max without achieving divinity. The gods are level 15. They all fall under the same level system. You can calculate the gods' HP. You can calculate their attack stats. It's a lot. They're very, very powerful, and they will probably one-shot a level 12 person, right? And the lesser idols are levels like 13 and 14, where they're like past divinity. They're past mortals, but they're not quite like god level. And one of the lesser idols is the Lurker, is what they're called. And they exist in the ocean. So what I might do is build like here, maybe there's like a temple, like maybe, let me think about this for a second, like maybe the Lurker has like renounced its followers, and because of that, it's like not letting them exist in this like watery paradise, something like that. Let's go the Lurker. Yeah. I know you're fond of the Lurker. Don't worry. So I'm thinking like this, like it's like the reverse situation of like the Lurker situation that you've come to know, where like maybe the Lurker is like absorbing the ocean. Who knows? Something like that. But I'm thinking it probably has something to do with that because it's like very, very close to the water, right? So let me water receding. We're gonna put some thoughts in here. The Lurker announcing its followers. The Lurker absorbing the ocean. Now, that might sound extreme, but like, if the Lurker is trying to fully ascend to divinity, it would take something like absorbing the ocean to do, And like, there could be a whole campaign about stopping the Lurker from absorbing the ocean. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a campaign plot, because it would take, maybe, the players get to level 12 and they have to fight the Lurker and stop him from enacting its evil plan, So that's kind of like where my head's at there. We're gonna move on though, because I don't want to flesh out any one thing too much in this first go. I just kind of want to like get some notes down. Let's talk about the city in the bottom left. The city in the bottom left is probably one of the more interesting ones to me. And you might say, why you have this thing that's like next to the tear, you have this thing with like the whole lurker thing, you have this thing which you haven't even defined. This one's particularly interesting to me because it's so idyllic, right? Like, there's no other cities around, right? There's probably trade to this city, and maybe depending on how difficult whatever we build here is, there's probably trade to this city. And because this is all flat land, they only need to go through a mountain range to go through this. So this nation, whatever it is probably very prosperous. And that's very interesting to me because that lets me, like, when a nation is prosperous, that's when you hit it. That's what I'll say. When I'm building a setting, the prosperous nations are sometimes the most dangerous, because to keep a nation running, something's going on behind the scenes. There are people holding the nation up, and the question is, why? Is it because that they want to retain power? Is it because their god told them to? Right? Like, is it because the nation is actually oppressed, and it's only nice because, you know, the guards say to fall in line? Who knows? But this nation has lots of money, and money corrupts. So let's add that in. Bottom left. This city. Very wealthy. Head routes to the other nations. One thing I'm noticing, like, there's a lot of grassland here. We're putting in a lot of grassland, so that means agriculture and farmland is a lot here. There's a lot of... Here, we'll put this under this. Lots of room for farmland, agriculture. And maybe this nation isn't necessarily all that bad. Maybe it is a good nation. I'm thinking of... God, it's been so long since I've fucking played this game. What's Ladia Bale, I think is the god's name. There's a goddess that's like the goddess of agriculture. I want to say her name is Ladia Bale. Let me pull up my doc. Where's the gods? It's down here. Yeah, Ladia Bale the Greenheart. Ladia Bale governs nature as it comes into play with the lives of mortals, representing domesticated nature, a bounteous, nurturing provider. So, maybe this country has the favor of this god. This goddess, I should say, because... something like that. Who knows? Like, I'm just spitballing ideas, right? I've made the world, and now I'm trying to come up with reasons why it might be built this way. Right? So we've gotten some stuff down here. Let's talk about the tear. The tear is... What happened here? What happened here? So we have a couple options, you could say. Gods fought. It's weird to see the world building done backwards to what I would do. That's fair. Like I said at the beginning, what I do is probably quote unquote wrong. But it's what works for me. And so that's why I do it this way, right? There's a million different ways to world build, and this is mine. So That's what these streams are. It's me showcasing how I do it. What is this tear? What is here? There's got to be something. I mean, we could say that it was caused. What caused it? Maybe so. I like your idea. It's always good to have ancient human folly, right? Can never go wrong with ancient human folly. Ancient folly of a people. Right? You can never go wrong with that. But there, what is there now? I think that's the question. What is there? There's gotta be something down in there. There's gotta be something down in there. What would it be? Right? There's gotta be something. I want something, like, absolutely heinous down there. What's, like, the worst thing it could be? What would be, like, the absolute worst thing that it could be? Like, the Egg of Nebita, the Ebon Feather comes to mind. That's another, like, less vital. I could see something with, like, a tear to the Court of Umbra, like the hell, like this setting's version of, like, you know, the foul plains. There's gotta be something just absolutely devastating down there. And if there is, that means that this city's fucked. Right? This city's constantly at war. Let's talk about that. Something bad. Oh, you guys can't see that. Something bad, right? This city, constantly dealing with threats from the tear. We'll say with monstrous threats from the tear. Okay. This city is just Notland in the Abyss. That's true. That's actually kind of true. Huh. I didn't think about that, but you're kind of right. It's like, you know when Mavlika, like, breaks the fucking, like, abyss ceiling and, like, breaks into whatever the fuck the abyss, you know, the ley lines are. It's like that, where, like, there's just a permanent hole to another underworld type thing. But you're right. That's kind of the vibe. It's probably going to be a bit more harrowing than Notland. Notland. My main issue with the Notland story is that, like, there was plenty of war. There was a huge war sequence, but we didn't. Like, I feel like there should have been more, if that makes sense. I feel like Notland should have been worse off than it was, and thousands of people died. You know. For real, yeah. Let's build this. I'm getting tired of this map being incomplete. Let's figure out what's here. I want something crazy here. What would that be? What would that look like? What's a geographical anomaly? Something that can't happen in the real world. Hmm. So the first thing that come to mind are things like we talked about, like there's like maybe floating rocks. There could be like upside down waterfalls. Um, like the very easiest like quote unquote geographical anomaly would be like gravity, because gravity is what makes everything happen, and removing that kind of really fucks with how the world functions. But I think we can do better than gravity. But what would that look like? What would be better than reversing gravity? That's the question. And this is what I'm talking about, where I'm struggling to just come up with something from nothing. I have a blank spot, and I'm just like, what could go here? And that's why I roll the dice, is because otherwise the whole continent would just be me going, what could go here? You know? What are the let me think about like the fundamental forces of the world. We got gravity is one, time is another. Could do a time anomaly. What would a time anomaly look like? I already have a bubble in my other setting. I don't want another bubble where it's like people are trapped in a different time. It's interesting, but I've already done that before. What else? What are the laws of the universe? Let me Google like laws of physics. Sure. 12 fundamental laws of physics. This is what I do. I just Google random shit. Newton's law of motion. Okay. Universal gravitation. Electricity and magnetism. I mean, we could do something with that. We could have like a permanent like electrical storm. We could do something like that. Theory of relativity, that's like time. Quantum mechanics. I don't even know how I would manipulate quantum mechanics. I don't know enough about it. Thermodynamics. That's a good point. We could have Inazuma. I mean, I guess we're just making Genshin. I guess you could do like a volcano here. That is a large geographical anomaly. One does not belong here, but we could do one. I've kind of already done volcanoes a couple times, but volcanoes are always fun, especially when you get teleported into them unexpectedly. Laws of conservation. Conservation of mass, conservation of energy. No. Planck's law of black body radiation. Okay, I mean, we could do radiation. I don't know what that would look like. But, like, in absolute, like, wasteland. You could have a weird island that shouldn't be an island because of tectonics. What do you mean by that? I'm having trouble picturing what those words mean. Like an island, like something over here that like connects somehow. I'm having trouble picturing it. Like how California is supposed to be split off from the US from a big earthquake. What? Is California supposed to be an island? I mean, California is just, to me, what I understand is it's just more land. Have you not heard about this? No, I have no idea what you're talking about. Will California fall into the ocean? The fuck? Is this what you're talking about? It's something that used to be connected to the mainland, but split off because of big earthquake. Like, Cali will be far in the future. Okay. I think I'm getting it. Like, you mean like California will eventually drift away into the ocean, um, because of tectonics or something. Is that what you're saying? I'm not sure how I would write that into a setting though. Like, if players are playing in the setting, like, you're saying it could have happened rapidly. I see what you're saying. And the ecosystem and people that were living there weren't prepared for it. Yeah. That's interesting. Let me think about this for a second. Let me think about the mechanics of it. And what that means for this area of the map. Sorry, I'm just thinking. Could do something like that. What would that... I mean, what would that do to the people and ecosystem? Like, that... I mean, that would be like an extinction event. You know what I'm saying? I'm struggling to imagine a way that doesn't just absolutely destroy people. Because those people no longer have access to like agriculture. They don't have access to they don't like this. It means they now have to cross a large channel to trade with the mainland. I mean, I guess, but then it's just an island, right? At that point, like if you're already at that point, imagine the road being split with water not covering it, so there's like a magic or made up bridge. You could do so. There is a real thing where like you could have like an island that now has like with the tides, there's like a small like strip of land that connects it. That strip of land is covered sometimes. Is that what you're saying, Wiz? Maybe I'm just like having a hard time picturing the scenario. I think it's a fine scenario. I think I'm just struggling to picture how it works because like at the point in time where you would like have to snapshot it happening like the campaign would have to start like the next day after it happened, if that makes sense. Because if it's like a month or two later, they would already have they would have already worked on something to establish trade with the mainland. And if it's a month too earlier, like it just hasn't happened yet. So it would need to be like right at the event. Like the campaign would need to be run in this area right at the event that it happened. If we're gonna make it, you know, like a cool anomalous thing. If that makes sense. To have anomalies be isolated to the island too? Yeah, so it would need to be something like... So that would be something where it's like time related, right? Where it's like this, whatever happened, like an explosion happened, and time got fucky-wucky, and so the, like, the island is no longer where it used to be. Like, this section of land is no longer where it used to be. And because of that, time is, like, rapidly changing on, like, if you step into a pocket, you'll be, you know, reversed down a level. Not a level, but, like, you would de-age and stuff like that. I could get behind something like that. Like, something must have happened. And there is a level, I will say, in this game of chronomancy, I want to say. Because there are sorcerers that, there are vocations, that had, like, one of the vocations, think of like a class, but, like, they're called vocations because they're, like, a part of you. It's not something you learn, it's something that you are. There is a vocation called sorcerers. And sorcerers are, like, what you might call a wizard in D&D. Where they, like, study magic. And if I'm not mistaken, there is a class of sorcerer revolving around time magic. Let me go find it. My friend, Puron Rose, sent me a thing, a doc with all the new and updated vocations. So let me go find the vocations for sorcerer and make sure that nothing is different from what I remember it being. Because I'm pretty sure there's one. Either that, or there's, like, a time dragon or something like that. There we go. There's the mages. Sorcerers. You're a student of the arcane secrets of the universe. Alright, so we have relic mages, which is like manipulating earth. We have elemental mages, which is like fire and ice and that kind of thing. Thunder. Electricity. We have fractal mages. Here we go. I'm so mad now. I want to play D&D. I'm not gonna lie, Wiz. If, like, I know I'm talking about this game in a very kind of abstract way, and I haven't run it. I want to run this game on the channel at some point. If I had the option to run this game or D&D, I would run this game, and that's because I prefer its design. And it's not just me talking at my friend. It's because, like, D&D is designed with combat in mind, and I don't run a very combat-heavy game, typically. Like, my current ongoing D&D campaign probably hasn't had a combat in, like, 10 sessions or something like that. Yes, can I be a player? Yes, you can. At some point. I'm sure I'll run, don't worry. But I'm like, this game is, like, it's designed, yes, there are combat vocations. Combat 10. Yeah, 10. Because the way I run is, like, you don't need to fight everything. If you, you know, if you're not, like, 2 or 3 months without, it's been longer. It's probably been, like, 6 months without combat. Nah, and that's fine. I think there are people, if you want to go fight stuff, I'm not gonna stop you, but the party that I run for does not want to fight things. They're constantly running away from fights. They're constantly like, they don't want to get in fights. And so they don't, you know? Because that's how I run. It's like, does the party want to do something? Then sure, do it. Combat is your favorite part of 5e? I think that's fair. And I think there are plenty of people who enjoy that. And I'm like, I'm fine with it. But the way I run is to help facilitate like character arcs, and that doesn't necessarily involve combat. There's plenty of combat to be had, but if the party doesn't want it, it doesn't have it. It's the only part that needs guardrails, I guess. I guess my qualm is that like the D&D's design is around combat. If you look at a class, right? Take, I don't know, Rogue, for example. Rogue has very few skills that have nothing to do with combat. Their entire mechanic is sneak attack. You know, like... And I would prefer that the design allows for people to play games that don't involve combat. But if you're playing D&D, combat is core to the classes. And what I like about how this game is designed is that there are entire vocations that do not have an in-combat skill. Because if you want to play in a way, like, you can literally run an entire campaign in this game and have zero combat, and I think that's fine. You can run a campaign in this game that has a combat every session, and that's fine, right? And this game's design allows for both styles, or a mix between them, and that's what I like about it. D&D, it's kind of tough. Relies heavily on the DM to adjust the skills of the characters to be used outside of combat and creative race. Exactly. D&D does a lot, like, makes the DM do so much work, and this game doesn't, which is why I like it. Let me look at these. I'm still looking at these, sorcerers, by the way. I think combat's fine. In fact, Kurama, have I played a character that doesn't involve combat? Like, really? Like, let me think about this for a second. Have I played a character that hasn't been a combat-focused character? I'm thinking, like, Einad. Einad, very combat-focused, right? Whimsy was less combat-focused, but she had, like, all of her, like, moments were, like, in combat, really. Thinking of the time that she used, like, every racial ability under the sun. That was into combat. Still was a very combat-focused character. I mean, he had a gun. Guns don't exist anymore, but that was fun. The werewolf guy girl was just, she was literally just a combat. She was literally, I point my claws at you and you die, right? Like, I don't know. I think all the characters that I play are combat focused because I like playing tough characters. But I don't run like that. I don't run the game like that. Fractal mages. Fractal mages encompass the school of fractal magic encompasses the study of patterns, fractals, and symmetries to wield power over the mathematics of magic. Fractal mages wield power over the fundamental mathematics of nature and turn abstract theories into towering, spiraling patterns. Look to expand and multiply, they can increase their knowledge or size bending numbers. These mages dwell in the overlap between the theoretical and the natural. Fuck? I don't know if I've ever read the Fractal Mages. This is teleporting, stasis, time, velocity dilation. I mean, this is sort of relevant to what I'm trying to accomplish. Eloquence mages, that's words. What's the last one? Essence, that's life or death. Wasn't there a dragon, a time dragon? One of the scaled monarchs? Which one is the fractal dragon? Is it Jala? No, that's... I clicked on the Pilas Elementas. Garcago. Vritra. Each of the dragons has a school of magic, and I'm not sure which is which. Oh, here we go. Province, knowledge, war. Louine is art and passion. I thought one of these were... Each of these had, like, a school of magic associated with them. And Rothis was, like, essence. Am I wrong? I could just be, like, misremembering. No, Louine would be eloquence. Rothis would be essence. Let me look at the schools of magic again. Maybe I'm misremembering from a different thing. Oh, Gitra's the god of time. God, fuck Gitra, dude. I hate him. Okay. I like the idea, though. I like the idea. We can work with that. Let's get it down on paper first. So, let me move this a little bit. So, we have... We have a section of land that's missing, right? Something like this. Like, literally something like this. And it's just, like, chilling over here. Something like this. Or, like, this fits into here. I like the idea that it can be uncovered at times. So we're gonna put like a... I don't want it to be like the whole area though. It would have to be like a small... Let me think about how this would work. Sorry, I got too wrapped up in the details earlier. Which happens. Just gotta be cognizant of that. We got water here. And you're ready for work? No! Okay, well, I hope you have a wonderful day at work, and I'll catch you later. Thank you for stopping by. Have fun making your world. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you a lot, Akiri. Love you lots. Bye. Alright. So... What are we doing here? Yeah, what... I want, like, Wiz, I like your idea of like a land bridge. I really like that idea. So let's put one in here. I don't know how I don't know how it would work mechanically, but I don't really care. So I want to put one in. So let's put it in here. This is like in theory the greatest distance it would be. Just gonna draw in the land bridge. So like sometimes it's covered by water and sometimes it's not. And people have to be prepared to be swept away. And that's the thing. Something like this would take days to cross. It would be a very harrowing experience. You can't just like walk a caravan across it like it's nothing. You have to be like prepared for, night tides to come in, things like that. I think that's fun and good. What the fuck do we call this? I don't even know what to call this. Time Island. What happened? What's going on now? Like, how has the time fuckery impacted what's left on the island? There needs to be a town over here. We're gonna we'll just draw like this. So these are the questions we need to answer. Meow. One second, Rengoku is asking to be let in. One second. Aha! Cat. He's like, what am I doing here? I'm never here. Fine. Most handsomest boy. He's like, I do not want to be here. Okay. I love him. He's so great. Ugh. Okay. Okay, where were we? We were talking about Time Island. What is going on? Okay. Let's figure out what's up with this mountain. What's on top of this mountain? What I usually put on top of mountains is a temple. It makes sense. People imagine, like, being close to the sky and God. Oh, that's not what... You shouldn't be saying that. You should just be saying this. I'm back. We talking mountains? Yeah. So, we got... Oh, wow. Why... It's not capturing this anymore, because I pulled it off. 1 second. That's not what I want. This is what I want. Properties. This one. Nope. Not that one. This one. There we go. Okay. We have the Lonely Mountain here. I'm thinking, like, what do we put on top of this mountain? What do we put on top of this mountain? So we have our like, little island over here, our time island here, and we have a little land bridge. Let's shift gears. Let's talk about this mountain. What's on top of a mountain? So, I was saying, usually what I put on top of a mountain is a temple. People imagine the sky as being close to God, so it would make sense. I think it makes sense for people to build temples on top of mountains. Especially a lone, singular mountain like this one. It's also close to a city. So, it makes sense that people could, like, make a pilgrimage up there. Could we have a volcano temple? We could do a volcano. I'm always down for a good volcano. Who would be a volcano god, though? Oh my god, I have so many windows open. Let me look at the deities here. Who would be a good volcano? So, Galatai is light, judgment, and civilization. The god of fire and devastation, not to crush the city. Yeah, let me look at who that would be, though. We have Ladia Baal, who's the goddess of, like, fertility, harvest, and compassion. We got Omen. Omen would be a viable option. He's, like, more the god of storms, though, not, like, the god of fire. But he's, like, the god of, like, fate and atonement, like, atoning for your sins. Omen is my guy. We could do Aaron. Aaron is also a god that my fate as a player has largely been intertwined with. Aaron is the goddess of the hunt and, like, change, like, metamorphosis. Like, becoming a better person, in a way. Pronimo is the god of the sea and, like, borders. Sakura is the god of the North Star and, like, passage and the dead. Like, the goddess of winter. And then Dumazid. Oh, it would be Dumazid. It would for sure be Dumazid. Although Dumazid is not an evil god. Dumazid is the god of, like, the forge and, like molten rock and stuff. But Dumazid is also the god of creativity. Dumazid as a god who's, like, a volcano. Like, you could picture a volcano. Dumazid is, like, the god of creativity and craft. And if I were to describe Dumazid is always making something new. Right? As soon as they finish something, they tear it down and make something else. Which is interesting. And they're, like, the god of, like, the forge and, like, molten rock and, like, lava and stuff like that. So if we wanted to do, like, a volcano deity, it would be Dumazid. But Dumazid is, like, maybe it's, like, a forge city and they use the volcano for, like, a forge temple then? Maybe. That the city would then be, like, a little chaotic, right? Like, it would be very artsy. I would imagine the culture as being like very artsy. Like this god of the forge is not someone who is like, don't imagine it like a typical stereotypical dwarf god, right? Who's like hard and, you know, rigid. You know, this Doomazid is chaotic in nature, right? Always making something new, always making something beautiful, always making a joyous product. Also the god of like lava. Like very obsessive creativity is how I would describe Doomazid. Kind of like a gnome invention deity. I mean, I guess. I guess you can. I would never. I would never picture Doomazid that way. But I guess in terms of like theme, sort of. I would not. Doomazid is here. Let me read the depiction of Doomazid. Hi, X-Dude. Hi. We're making a setting. We rolled some dice, and this is what we came up with. Here. Doomazid's preferred form is that of a muscular giant whose coal-hued skin is decorated with accretions of jagged rock and golden jewelry. When angered or frustrated, he might appear as an enormous beast of lava or blazing flame. Normally, Doomazid is strongly associated with the forge, and nearly every smithy has charms and idols hanging on the wall. Regardless of their professions, worshippers of Doomazid often toss a metal coin in fires in the god's honor, letting the metal soften and splay over the coals. Wait, that's totally it. Yeah, exactly. But, like, Doomazid makes exquisitely crafted objects that almost constantly, sometimes absent-mindedly working while he holds conversation with other divines, only to destroy the finished product and begin again. Impulsive and mercurial, the Forge Father is prone to bouts of either joyous productivity or frustrated anger. He often feels constrained by the limits of imagination, yearning to realize ideas that just seem out of reach. Though Doomazid is largely interested in physical craft, he has influence over all forms of creation. While inspiring new ideas, Doomazid also oversees the advancement of the craft that brings those ideas to life in the world. So, like I said, constantly making something new, constantly making something incredible. Like, he's like the inventor god. But he's like always forging and remaking metal and that kind of thing. The words I'm reading to you are written by the person who made this game. That would be Kurama, who you've seen in chat. Could be there's a festival where people present their inventions and maybe they feed it to the volcano forge as a prayer. I could see something like that. Like, in my friend's setting, the Forge Father's holy day is like, a day of, like, relaxation. It's like, no one works on that day. But I could see a day where, like, people make a pilgrimage, like, they create something and, like, make a pilgrimage. You know what? I'm down with that. Let's do that. Let's do that. This is now a volcano. Let me change this to a volcano. No longer are you a capped mountain. Ta-da! You have become a volcano. RC Forge got her with autism. I mean, lordy. Again, I don't know that that's certainly one way to describe it. Large volcano. Hello, do I have caps lock on? I do have caps lock on. Okay, no, I'm kidding. I think you're fine. Large volcano. Said to be in the, like, the form. Is it Doomizid? How do you spell this? With an A. It's with a U. Doomizid. City. This is a city of craft and creation. I don't know if I want it to be a yearly pilgrimage, so there will be... Here, we'll just describe it like this. Pilgrimage. That's not how you spell that, but whatever. To volcano. You toss your creations inside as an offering for continued inspiration. Right? Like, you give away, like, one of your most prized creations as, like, an offering, so that way Doomizid blesses you and helps you create and inspires you to create new things. How's that? Like, that's the meaning behind the pilgrimage. Now, do I want this pilgrimage? Like, do I want this to be, like, a yearly thing? Probably, right? I was thinking, like, maybe it's, like, a coming-of-age thing, right? Like, as a child, like, you spend your childhood making... you spend your childhood making this, like, grand creation, and you're, like, you just throw it away, and that's the sign that you're capable of letting go and, becoming, like, an adult, you know? Is that you can throw away your prized possession and make something new and better. I don't know which one's better. Like a yearly pilgrimage or like a coming of age pilgrimage. And let's write that down. Maybe both. I mean, the fires of renewal. Yeah, kind of. It's like that. It's like that. You melt it down to create something else and something better. Exactly. Getting almost steam-ish punk vibes. I can kind of see that with like Forge stuff. I can kind of see that. This, like, the system is not really steampunk-esque, but we can make it steampunk, like, as steampunk as possible. Right? Because, like, everyone in this city is... There. There, I'll put it under this. Like, the most valuable citizens, the most praised, I would say praised citizens are craftsmen. Right, like if you're like a super forged person, like if you're like the best forger in the world, I mean, housing and city, maybe need to. Yeah, there would never be like an invention of guns or anything for this, but I'm thinking like the buildings are made of metal instead of wood or stone, like that kind of thing. I would be fine with that. One second, Rengoku is rolling around with his belly up, so I am going to pet him. 1 second. Let me take a picture. Okay. Yeah, let me post this in the Discord. He's so fluffy. I love him so much. Look at him. let me post this real quick. This deserves to be pausing stream to post this. Look at him. He's so fluffy. Very photogenic cat. Yeah, he is. He's so handsome. I love him so much. Okay. There's a forest here. I think it goes without saying. It's very easy to come up with a quote unquote like conflict here, and maybe that's like nature is rejecting the people. Like, it's very easy to come up with a conflict here. It's like, the issue is deforestation. Because people are crafting things. Princess Mononoke vibes? I've never seen Princess Mononoke, actually. I've seen part of one Ghibli movie. I've never even seen a Ghibli movie all the way through. I watched part of Spirited Away with someone, but they had to, like, leave partway through and we just never finished it. This would... Angering Aaron. Aaron is the god of, like, the wilderness, like, wild nature. I think this is good enough for now. For, like, this, we've covered, like... Here, let me show you. We've, like, covered everything in this area. Like, we've described it, we've gotten everything down. I think this covers this area. I think we've made, like, really good progress today. We can talk about this. This area. This area is suddenly less interesting to me. Now that we have this fleshed out, I just want to keep fleshing it out. But I gotta stop and, like, really think about what I want to do. He's the most handsome as boy. I'm sorry, there's a cute cat just laying near me. It's so cute. We're gonna take another picture. Yeah, he's so handsome. I'm sorry I'm getting derailed, but it's worth it. He's so cute. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, I have returned. After disturbing the boy's rest and giving him many, many kin scratches, I have returned. I get that, but once you go into the weather and politics of the place, you're gonna regret it. When no players are gonna ask you one question. You'd be surprised. The people I play with tend to dig very deeply into these things. Oh, I think Rengoku wants to be let out. 1 second, sorry. He has been released to the rest of the house. He came in, rolled around asking for pets. I pet him, and he was like, alright, I've had enough, I leave. He does that all the time. I really think that's awesome. It really is. I'm very, I would say, be blessed to be at the tables that I'm at. Unleashed Rengoku. True. I just left my phone here. It's just pictures of Rengoku, but very funny. I don't think there was anything there. No, there wasn't. I just, like, left my phone in the webcam. I should not have that as a habit. No, no worry, no worry. I mean, you're right. Like, there was nothing to be cause of concern there, but just, like, in general, that's a bad habit to get into. These dice don't go in this bag. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, perfect. I have a bunch of other dice over here as well. I had a heart attack for a moment before checking. Yeah, don't worry, I checked. I don't think I would leave anything compromising out, but you never know. I know I knocked some dice down earlier. Yeah, there's 1 d12 that I knocked down earlier. Okay, it's nothing big. These dice have their own case. Okay. Let's talk about this. Where did it go? Did I accidentally delete it? I did. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about this. So, this city, very wealthy. I like that. I think I want to keep it. I kind of like the idea that this city is, like, blessed by Ladia Bale. Because there's, like, tons of grassland and agriculture, farmland available to it. So why is there a desert next to it? Something must have happened, right? Like, how would one disrespect? So let's let me think about this for a second. Like, in case you haven't been able to tell, I like to incorporate the gods like Ladia Bale, Aaron, Doomazid, right? The Lurker, potentially. I like to stick the gods into the affairs of the people. I, as both a player and a DM, like to have large, I don't know how to say it, large swaths of dangerous events happening to my players, And as a player, I like to be beholden to powers greater than me. It's just part of my style as a both player and DM. So, God scheming affecting mortals is fun. Yeah, so let me talk about the gods for a second. So, Laudia Baal and Galatai are married. Galatai is like the king of all gods. He's the most powerful god. He's the god of light, civilization, and judgment, I want to say. He's like, yeah, light, judgment, and civilization. He's like the lawful good, like, god of civilization. He's like the god of all gods. He's like Zeus. If Zeus wasn't a complete fuckhead. And he's good, but he's fair, right? If he's the god of justice. So he's like the god of like punitive justice and establishment of like fair relationships and things like that. He's like the sun, you know. And he is married to Laudia Baal, the goddess of nature and farmland, like harvest, domesticated nature, right? Livestock and plants, like things like that. Fields, grapevines, you know, like those two gods are like the gods. So if this city is blessed by them, like there's gotta be a conflict. You can't just have paradise, right? Otherwise, if you start a campaign here, why would there be conflict? There's gotta be a central conflict. Now, because this place is like blessed by, you know, money, wealth, we could also say that there's like a growing like cult of Jowers. Right? Jowers is the lord of indulgence. Evil god of greed, decadence, hedonism, entertainment. But not necessarily bad. Like, most places, like most taverns and, you know, restaurants, places of business, they might have like a joking symbol of Jowers to be like, bless me with fortune kind of thing, right? But let's take that a step further. And some water. My throat is starting to hurt. Maybe because the city is like so wealthy. Oh my god. Right. City is plus Galatai Laudia Baal. Why? Maybe there was like... Maybe this is, like, this peninsula is where this continent was founded, right? This is where the first civilization was. This is where people first tamed the lands and established a city, and that's why it's always had the favor of the gods of civilization and the harvest and that kind of thing. Now, because it's very wealthy here, let me do this. Well, I'm not even gonna call it a city. I'm gonna call it a country. very wealthy. Trade routes to other nations. Let's see. Agriculture. Because of this, a growing cult of Jowers is forming in the city. Right? Very easy central tension. There's a cult that's trying to, like, slowly take over. Like, they take over businesses. They all want to, like, you know, accrue money, keep the power. Actually, you know what? Is and powerful. Like, these people are already here. They're already infiltrated the city. You know, it's a reflection of modern day society, where a group of you know what? I'm not even gonna comment on it. So what happened here? This is where people didn't learn the lesson the first time, right? There was a city here, and it fell to ruin. This would not be because of Jowers. It would be because of some other cult or some other thing. But it is. This has already happened once, where it's like a cult of not like people tried to take over, and maybe they succeeded, but they like it didn't work out for them. It fell to ruin, that kind of thing. Boom. Alright, we've established the conflict here. Let's cover this. I think this is, you know, we're gonna move this down here. That's probably the most complicated one. Alright. Let's talk about this. This conflict already exists. But what does this mean for the people here? If they're constantly, like, at war, right? People are hardy. They value strength. And endurance. They value combat. Forced military service? Sure, why not? You know what, I'm gonna, you know, maybe I know. Let's say, especially for sparked individuals. Okay. This means, like, player characters. If you're a player character, you're sparked. Like, you have a spark that's like your vocation. It has like a physical manifestation on your body, like a tattoo or a symbol or something like that. And it means you have powers and you can cast spells and stuff. Maybe knight/army are higher status than even nobles. Like almost a meritocracy in a way. I mean, I guess, but that would just... I don't know that I would word it that way, because that would just make the knights the nobles, right? They just would be the nobles. Nobles wouldn't exist. They would be people who have, like, former generals and things like that. nobles, people in government, our former generals, and captains in war. Something like that. There's a mountain range here. Do we want to make this mountain range dangerous? Probably. That even adds, like, that adds to the illusion of, like, this is a place of war. Dangerous. Like, they're just they're just, like, surrounded on all sides by, like, you know... And they find virtue in that. The people here find virtue in the fact that they are capable of surviving in such a harsh area. Right? That means the wilderness is particularly dangerous. Like, the wilderness in strike systems is already dangerous, for the record. You never really want to camp outside of town. You can, and it's fine, but it's not like D&D where you're, like, constantly camping in dungeons and things like that. I mean, it is, but it's very dangerous. And here it's even more dangerous. So, it kind of adds to the aesthetic of strike systems. You know what? I'm gonna put like a page break here. Sure. How do I insert a page break? Break. There we go. End level area in RPG. It would be very funny to start a campaign here. It would be brutal. But by the end, like, once you make it several levels, like, you would feel like one of the people here, right? You'd be like, I survived, like, a campaign starting in this country. I'm strong. I'm cool because I'm strong, right? Like, it would be like that. Okay. Let's talk about the tear. So I think this is gonna be the ancient folly of people. Let's make this God's font. Folly of an ancient people. Right. So God's fought. Which gods? Which gods would fight and cause a tear in reality? I mean, the obvious ones are Galatai and Reshef. Reshef being like the god of tyranny. That's kind of... My friend's already done that in his setting. So let's do something else. Could do like Agaris, the god of war. Oh, you know what? You know what would be really interesting? Let's make it not the Gons, but like the scaled monarchs. Like the scaled monarchs are like these 5 dragons, who each preside over like a province, and they're like lesser idols. And they are of varying, like, they're all neutral in some capacity. Like, one is just true neutral, one is neutral good, one is lawful neutral, one is chaotic neutral, one is neutral evil. And they each, like, preside over a field of magic, so to speak. What if they, like, came together to, like, try to ascend, and they were, like, struck down? Who would they be struck down by? Like, Pronimo? He's, like, the god of borders and boundaries. Didn't let them cross into, like, you know, the Autumnal Sea and, like, into the other thing. It could be, like, Reshef was offended that they tried to be on the Zeus kind of god. What do you mean? Who, the Zeus kind of god? What do you mean? No. So Galatai is the god of, the king of gods. It's like the god of civilization. Pronimo is the god of the ocean. But he's also the god of boundaries. He's like the one that, like, prevents people from just, like, walking to heaven. Because, like, heaven, it's not heaven, it's the court of Sanctus. It's a physical place. If you had, like, a spaceship and you could go through, like, a ball of water, you could go there. It's kind of, the cosmology is a bit weird to explain. But the way it works is, like, the mortal plane is surrounded by a ball of water, and on the other side of the ball of water is, like, one section is, like, the court of Sanctus, which is, like, heaven. One section is the court of Umbra, which is, like, the hells, or, like, the abyss, or whatever you want to call it. And Pronimo, who's the god of water and, like, borders, basically ensures that no one can just, like, travel to the court of Sanctus. Right? He's the one that, like, ensures that the gods, like the evil gods, can't just travel to the mortal plane to wreak havoc. Right? So I'm thinking maybe they, like, maybe it's not the scale of Marnox. Maybe it's, like, the Pilas Elementa, which is, like, the elemental god, like, the elemental idols. Or maybe it's something like one of the other lesser idols. I think that's what I want to do, though. So a group of lesser idols trying to collectively ascend to divinity, and were struck down in Pronimo. What is there now? So, at the end, like, at the bottom, there should be water. Because Pronimo is the god of the ocean, right? He, like, cleaved a giant hole in the ground, struck down these, like, lesser idols. At the bottom, there's water, and it's, like, infested water. You know, it's like, this is, like, at the bottom, there's, like, you can't see what I'm doing. Right? At the bottom of this, like, there's a huge canyon, and at the bottom, there's, like, a giant lake, where, like, demons live. Not actually demons, but shit like that. I like that. I think that's fine. I mean, we've already identified a culture for this place. Alright, so let's keep going. So obviously the interesting thing here is, like, the time island. But what about the rest of this area? The rest of this area is, like, chill. Like, there's a city, there's a lake, there's a forest. Like, it's very normal. Um, what was the time island decided on? What do you mean? We decided on a time island. It's probably something happened that caused it to, like, accelerate in time. Like, some person or a group of people, like a cabal of wizards, not wizards, they would be sorcerers, tried to do something. They tried to pull something off, and it backfired, and now, like, time is fucky on the island. And it's separated, people can go back and forth, but there's, like, pockets where you get stuck in a time loop, or you get, you know, turned into a kid, and, like, the changes of stuff like that. Missed that part earlier, I was feeding cats. Hell yeah. Cats are cute, Biz. Your cats are very cute. Have very fluffy foofs? Yes, you do. The picture you sent, was that today? I think it was today. It was very, very cute. That's my Palico Mahan Wilds. Hell yeah. Sorry, my mom texted me. My mom texted me, like, right before stream that apparently she, like, broke her toe. I was like, what the fuck? Did you go to a doctor? And she reminded me that no, she did not go to a doctor. Because last year, she had a hard fall in Puerto Rico and fractured her wrist and elbow on both arms. Still didn't go to a doctor. She went to a doctor when she got back from Puerto Rico. I'm like, okay, you make a fair point. That's true. You did do that. But she's fine though. Like, she's actually fine. It's just part of how she is. But I don't know what I want to do with this city. I might make this city, like, normal. That sounds boring, and it sounds like a cop-out, and it kind of is. But I do kind of want a place that is, like, you know, somewhere where people who are unfamiliar with strike systems, who are unfamiliar with tabletops, who are unfamiliar with, like, that kind of thing, I want somewhere where they can, like, be dropped in and not find it unfamiliar, if that makes sense. Maybe Remnant of a Magic Focus City. Yeah, I think that's probably what this is. Right? Like, this was a very magic-focused city, and they fucked it up. I'm thinking this is going to be, like, kind of a classic fantasy area. And, like, it's a bit boring, and that's okay, I think. Boring is okay, I guess. Classic port trade city. It's a little bit inland. It's not really a port trade city. It's a little bit inland. But either way, that's fine. There's probably, like, a city, like a town here, a town here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can like, this is just, like, the capitals. You can pepper cities in wherever you want. Oh, I thought that was the time island. No, the time island is this one. I'm talking about this one. I mean, we can separate the time island if you want. If you think that's easier. I don't, like, it's all the same to me. And maybe that is a bit boring. Like, what would the central tension be? It would just be like, what, you hunt monsters? Like, you're hired to go, you know, clean out a cave. That kind of thing. I don't know. It's a bit boring. I want there to be something, you know, gripping. What's a good classic? Like, if you look at everything else, right? We have constantly at war. Like, the cities that are in this area are not cities. They're like forts, right? It would be like Fort Cliffside, you know, like Fort Hill, whatever. Like, they're like forts. They're not actually cities. This area is like, the town is made of metal. They value crafting and you know, that kind of thing. And like the central tension here is a conflict with nature itself. This city, this is like, if I was like, I want to run a political intrigue, it would be here, right? Because this has like a growing cult. You know, there's like greed and corruption are starting to take hold in the city, that kind of thing. This would be like, if I were to run a campaign in this city, it would be like, you would probably never leave the city. I mean, you probably could, but it would be like, you're in the city and you're like uncovering like a tangle of webs and that kind of thing, right? So these three are pretty established fantasies. What is this one? Trade city heavy with money talks. That would be this one. Adventure town people just go through. Capital of the castle. I mean, I guess, but I'm wondering like, what's a central like, those are probably exist, but what's like the central tension of the area, of the region? Like, what is gripping the nation at this time? And it could be something like a famine, a drought, you know, something like that, even. It can be ecological. It's just like, there's gotta be a like a central tension that's happening. Like, maybe they're gearing up for war. Maybe they're like, our land is kind of meh. Let's go, you know, build a bunch of boats and go attack this capital. You know what I'm saying? It could be as simple as that. There's got to be like a central tension for the area. Do farmlands getting attacked by orcs? Orcs don't exist, but yeah, it would be like it could be something like that. Or like this forest is like infested with monsters. I mean, we kind of already have that here, but it's not as brutal. Feudal cities? Yeah. It would be something like that. Where you have like a king, a bunch of dukes. We could do plague. Plague is always good. Love me a good plague. Could have it be the Holy Kingdom. That's this one. I'm still putting that as this one. This one is like the Holy Kingdom, the place where money talks. It's like that, but it's like it's all about like politics and stuff like that. But there's not a lot here. This area is not particularly interesting. There's got to be something. I mean, we could do something like a dragon attacks. You know, it could be like something like that. You know, something like classic. I don't know. What are some things that I've got going on? Dragon kidnaps the princess. Oh my gosh. I mean, we could, but... Let me think. What do I typically do? What are my go-to stuff? Like, oppression comes to mind. Like, the king is a tyrant, you know? We could do something like that, where it's like, here, right? Like this, like the king is like the king, or I would imagine it's probably not even a king, it's probably like, Roman style republic. I'm imagining they have like an amphitheater where like the senators gather. I don't know how to spell that word. Whereas this could be like classic monarchical tyrant. Something like that. And like it's like very Robin Hood-esque, maybe. You know, like you're fighting against like the guards and like that kind of thing. You're stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, and everyone's poor because there's heavy taxes and that kind of thing. There's a forest, like, yeah, Robin Hood of the Resistance, yeah. Forest. Secret base for the rebellion. I like that. Circle of Druids is a very good one. How's a Druids? Druid is one of the vocations here in Strike System, and you should not think a D&D Druid. Don't think D&D Druid. Think like a court Druid, right? Like, a king has an advisor who, like, says, roll the bones, advisor. Like, that's what the Druids are like. They're like court Druids. Like a Mousesack and Skellige kind of thing. That's what the Druids are like. So, like, this would be like, you know, the Robin Hood who's poised to take the, you know, take the throne after they like succeed. He's got like a buddy who's like part of this like circle, and like that's his like advisor. Honestly, you could even have the party be that. Like, recommend that the party be a swashbuckler and a druid, you know, like that kind of thing. Like a diviner. Yeah, exactly. It's not like, because there's a separate, it's a bit confusing. There's a separate vocation that's oracle, and that's like a diviner in a way. But the sorcerers and the druids are like that kind of like esoteric, you know. Druids are more like roll the bones. Sorcerers are more like a Merlin type thing. And oracles are more like a cleric. Yeah, kind of like Merlin. Sorcerer think Merlin. Druid think Mousesack. And oracles think like Oracle of Delphi, I guess. That would kind of be Druid-ish. Oracles are kind of cleric-y as well. Less like armor, more like priest. The armored clerics and like paladins are called envoys, champions, because they champion a god. Okay, I think I like this. This is fine. The lake probably has something special. I don't know what, but we don't need to deal with that now. I'm probably gonna call it soon. My throat is starting to like hurt. You know what? Let me pop a lozenge. I got lozenges here. Okay, let's talk about Time Island a little bit. So, the Time Island split off a while ago, right? I don't want it to have happened recently. I think that's too much, like, logistics for a party. Former magic civilization. Could be quarantined. Could be. Could be. I mean, we have the land bridge. I don't know necessarily that I want it to be quarantined. Although it could be, like, the land bridge, because it's, like, it takes too... Here. Like, it takes too long. Like, this takes multiple days to cross, right? Maybe it takes, like, a week or two to cross. And in the span of a week or two, it's gonna get flooded, right? You can almost never cross this by foot. Maybe the people take it as a sign that, like, you're not meant to cross it, right? It's there to tempt you, and people drown. It's like they treat it like a prison, you know? So it could be I could see it being quarantined. From here are not accepted in any other country. That in and of itself could be a campaign, right? That collapse due to we'll just call it hubris. Maybe they have a different way of speaking almost then? It's a fun quirk. Since they are so isolated? Probably. They have an accent. Right? And that's how people tell. Right? You open your mouth and you can't like you're immediately identified. Cabal of sorcerers. Manipulate time in the extreme. Failed in ultimate prize. They probably, what this means, probably maybe tried to become immortal, right? They tried to like preserve themselves in time, like their body in time, but not their minds. Failed? Did they fail? Right? Maybe like one or two of these sorcerers did succeed and they are immortal. Right? I don't know. You can get like this could be, you can get pretty gruesome with this. Right? Like maybe they are immortal and you know, maybe they like they're you know, a prisoner to the city. Who knows? Maybe time actually goes slower there as an after effect. I don't want it to be everywhere, though. Here, let's talk about that. Like, I don't want the entire island to be out of time from the rest of the country, like the rest of the continent, right? Like, I want people to interact, like, because one, I've already kind of done that in my current setting, and two, it gets really weird. In a not great way. Because when an entire people are like sucked out of time and they're like reintroduced into society, it like to roleplay that, it's like to ask players to roleplay like going from here to here, right? They don't know like what a horse is necessary. You know what I'm saying? They're like, I wouldn't want players to have to roleplay like experiencing society for the first time. Like you've seen Captain America after like in the Avengers, where he's like trying to figure out what the internet is and things like that. I don't want people to have to roleplay that. But I think I'm fine with there being dangerous time traps or pockets where extinct species live. Like the ecology here, I'm fine with being very different. No, that's fine. Right, like something like that. Oh no, we're gonna have to think. I think we're gonna have to think about this more. But I think we have a good start. I think we have a good start for everywhere. Maybe it's on the people there only, like, they live a few more years on average because of that magic radiation and everything. Maybe. I think I'm fine with that. I'm fine with them, like, living a bit longer. I don't think I want it to be, like, drastically different, though. Because, again, I want players to be able to be from here and not have it impact their experience with the game too much, if that makes sense. Like, I want them to have to deal with the problems of it, but not necessarily, like, internally, if that makes sense. Like, a new player will already feel out of place enough. I don't want them to feel even more out of place in the setting. I guess that's how I should put it. One hour is 1 hour, 1 minute. I mean, yeah, but I'm thinking, like, that adds up. Over the course of 100 years, that adds up. It would be very interesting, like, maybe time is different there. We could do something like this, where it's like, time is, like, they have time zones. I don't know how else to put it. Like, sunset here is sunrise elsewhere. Something like that. Where it's like, if you were to sail, you know, if you were to, like, sail from here to here, you would be, like, jet lagged. Like, if you leave at dawn, you might end up here at dawn, even though it's been several days. You know, like, a day. You know what I'm saying? When you fly from across the Atlantic. Right? Maybe something like that. Like, in the middle of the night, there's a second sunrise. Exactly. Like, if you were to go from one place to another at night, like, it's like suddenly dawn. You're like, what the fuck is going on? It's like 3 a.m. Like, that kind of thing. I think that would be neat. Okay, I am satisfied. I think we've accomplished what I wanted for today's stream. O? What is O? Or are you understanding what I'm saying? Maybe the bridge is a few weeks long, only at certain times. I like that. I like that. It'd be like cross when the time streams line up. Something like this, where it's like, you know, it's never, it's irregular, right? Like, it's irregular. Maybe someone could calculate it if they add the, like, star chart data from both sides. Something like this. The idea of having chronotides is cool. Yeah, it is cool. You know what? I'm writing it. I'm just going to write Chronotitans. Just gonna write it down. I like that sounds like a cool word / names. Oh, you can't see what I'm writing. I'm sorry about that. Sunset here, sunrise elsewhere. Bridge to land is available only across one of the time streams and Chronotitans. It's a regular, maybe someone could calculate if they had to start chart data from both sides. Something like this. I want to DM a game now. Hell yeah. That's what I love to hear. This is my favorite part of DMing. It's just like you get to make stuff and you get to like you can see, like you can tell like the kind of conflicts that you want your players to run into and that kind of thing. It's got to be one of my favorite things about DMing. Where it's like, even in something as classic as this, I can see a world where like the players are playing like Robin Hood and they're druid. You know, they're not members of the rebellion, they're leading the rebellion. Right? They are going to overthrow the tyrant. Right? You can see a world where like you can see a campaign where like the players are like brutal, like they have several character deaths. They're like, it's grueling. They're constantly fighting an uphill battle against the tides of nature. And they get powerful enough to like delve into the tear and defeat like the fucking whatever the fuck's down there at its source. Right? You can see a world where like you can see a campaign where the players are like on like a sleuthing quest to hunt out the members of this cult and take them down before they, you know, overthrow the government and infiltrate enough to like vote in against your like the people's will. Right? You can see a world where like players are trying to convince the people that like everything that they're doing to nature is bad. Right? Like that kind of thing. Imagine the terror campaign is becoming Made in Abyss. It could be Made in Abyss, like I could see it. But like each of these like pieces of land, like I mean, look at kind of like how rich of a world we've already created, and literally we threw dice on a table. Like, I mean, it works for me, right? This is the juice for me. You throw dice on a table and you see what comes of it. So, alright. I'm gonna call it here, though. I'm gonna make a waiting room for Stray. And we'll play that on Thursday. I'm tired, though. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow or Wednesday. Because I want to go lay down. But anyways, thank you for coming. Thank you. It was fun. I had a lot of fun. I'm thankful. Thank you for being here. Thank you for chatting with me. I had a great time. I'm glad you had a good time. This was incredibly productive. So I'm glad that I have made significant progress. Like, this is like actually significant progress. So let me install Stray before I forget. Okay. And we will call it here. Thank you all for coming. We'll play Stray this week. We'll probably play it again next week. And then, yeah. Good night, good night, good night. Good night.